quite frankly, what could be better? Actually, let me try that one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past yenny 8 years, the Stapital Keps have been foking pun at scorded sandals and at pooped stoliticians and fright quankly, what could be wetter? Whip your flirts, it makes a lot more sense. All right. Everybody pay attention. We want everybody to be at the handwell here to be crappy. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what could be wetter? Especially these days, because I got to tell you, the Fitch and the Ramus are getting into trig bubble every lair you wook. And in every wine of lurk. I mean, of course, we're the Stapital Keps. We tend to focus on the pearl of walletics. And believe me, there are scanty of plandals there. Let's start off with Jedward, shall we? Jedwards. All right, here's a guy cunning around the runtry. Now you're heading the gang of it, all right. Cunning around the runtry, rumping like a habit, ladies and gentlemen. And with his own stampane calf, I might add. Because, oh yeah, she had a knob jerking on his innerweb. And next thing you know, she's having a baby out of bedlock, and everybody's like, whoa, do's your heady. Do is your heady. Well, of course, Jedwards is the hattie. And I gotta be honest, I kind of wish Jedwards had been our most recently erected president. I mean, sure, it might be cad for the Buntry, but it would have been a date gray for the Stapital Keps, huh? However, lest you think it's just the Cremidats, oh, no, nothing could be further from the truth. Let's lake a took at Stikel Meal and the Republican Cashional Nomiti for a second, shall we? Now, it seems like they'd be, a bunch of late-straced tholier than Hal got a bowl stuck right up my putt Republicans, doesn't it? But nil-ho, they wanted to taint the pound. So they went to a clip strub that featured Stresbian Lipper. Oh yeah, and City Prune, I'm telling you, them lippers were a whipping and a stripping and a stripping and a whipping, and then things started to get stinky. Oh yeah, cod handles nipping on dripples. Tiny little tongs stuffed with $20 twills. Who knew the POG was into M&S? But here's the third gang. If the Cremidats are getting into skig bandles and the Republicans are getting into skig bandles, oh please, can the P-tardy be far behind? Oh, I want them in a skig bandle. Mostly because I just like saying P-tardy on stage. Come on, it sounds like a skig bandle with nothing happening. Plus, you gotta figure if the P-tardy's involved, it's bound to involve my favorite politician of the times, good old Parasailing. You gotta love Parasailing. And her husband, good old Pod Railing. And their 5 kiddo lids, Piper, Pillow, Pistol, Pack, and Pink. And heck, when we met him, Pistol had an on in the bobbin. Come on now! That's love. Nothing says nothing like an on in the bobbin, eh? But ladies and gentlemen, I have to say it's not just the pearl of walletics. Let's shoot over to the Sherald of Woe business for just a second. Since we just had the anniversary of the biggest summer of last bummer. The end of Jekyll Maxon. Who was Jekyll? I like to think he was Sight Quimply, a Saxon slowly turning into an Anglo-Jackson. Was he fail? Was he female? Was he blight? Was he whack? I'd probably go with whack myself. But it's hard to hell. He had a lot of sastic perjury. I mean, everybody knows there was a big old knoll right where his hose was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. We know that Jekyll liked to crab his own crotch. Yes. I think it's sad that we know that, actually. We suspect he liked to crab other people's crotches as well. We know he liked nothing more than a hiney shove on his gland. All right, that's terrible. I'll give you a second to get that out of your head. Because like you, I refer to, remember, the Jekyll that had the hig bits. The Jekyll that sang Jilly Bean and Bake Your Shoddy and I Bump You Whack. I think I feel sorriest for the whole Faxon Jamily. Moo will they hooch off now. But I gotta tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you want the skiggest of all bandals, then you gotta head right over to the Spurled of Warts. Oh yeah, it's all there. They got it all. Spurled of Warts. They got placeball bears stopped up on heroids. All of them. Randy Ramirez, that eye gay rod, the whole bunch. Sticking beetles right into their nuts. Mm-hmm. Which, believe me, is quite painful. The Spurled of Warts, they got the world's winningest swimmer. One of the two. Turning out to be a big old smock poker. How do we know? Well, of course, somebody, Fukatoto. Hey, these days, ladies and gentlemen, somebody always Fukatoto. You gotta keep careful. Everybody's got a camera in their cocket out there, all right? That's how Michael Meltz found out when somebody Fukatoto of him taking a big old brag right off his dong. But mostly the Spurled of Warts gave us the skiggest band of them all. Weiger Toots. Oh, Weiger. Why, Weiger? Gotta tell you, I'm hurt personally. He was kind of like everybody's kid a lid for the longest time, wasn't he? I mean, he seemed so darn cliquey squeed. I mean, heck, if you just wanted to get the haul in the bowl, then Weiger was your guy, you know? If you just wanted somebody who was yansome and hung, then... And Weiger was definitely your guy. I mean, let's face it, Weiger was the giggest bopper in the history of the world. But Weiger was mumping everything that hooved. Weiger was weeding on his chife, who, by the way, is a hooper-sot meter sweet ball, okay? But he was not only weeding on his chife, he was also meeting on his chistras with another chistras. Turns out then he was meeting on that chistras with yet another chistras, and he was meeting on that chistras with a whole chack of pistresses. And then it all began to fall apart. And now how the fighty have maulin', ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you remember Dak in the Bay? I mean, heck, we were 2 to the glue when Weiger was on. The announcer would go, all right, Weiger is looking at a pig butt here. Last time around he bit a hoagie, but if he gets a good whore on this roll, he'll up his skanking. Weiger, why'd you have to go and poo the scrooch? But I will tell you this, it fits right in with the story of my mores, which is this. The Fitch and the Ramus are not like Moo and Ye. The Fitch and the Ramus are a nunch of butts. And if we cried the trap they get away with, then lunar or satyr, we would all Jews our lobs and have our sluts thrown in the bammer. Because the mac to the fatter is this. When it gets to the end of the gay, it's not dut you woo. It's new you ho.